Aloha! Welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam Session. I'm your host, Tom Gaddis. My co-host, Mr. Chris Byrne, on the call as well. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, we are excited to be here. We have a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about our passive prospecting systems. We'll talk about both because we've got two of them that we use in our agency. We're going to talk about those, how they work together, why two? Why are we doing two? Why all that stuff? We're going to do some shout outs. Chris is going to share some of his results and experience with what we'll be talking about as well. We're going to take your questions. We're just going to hang out and have an overall good time. So I'm excited to be back here with you on the live show. I'm going to cue up the intro. I'm going to grab a quick drink. You should too. And we'll see you back here in one moment.
It's time. The moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to grow and scale your business from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, we've returned for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam session. And now, here are your hosts.
Here I got that little air horn sound in there.
Love it.
Oh man, my God! Listen, I'm excited I'm back. I missed you guys last week. Oh, settle down, everybody, settle down. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah, I love this sound. My wife was like, "Oh my God, you should not be allowed to have access to that sound." Well, man, I missed being here last week. So last Friday, the 13th. My lucky day, by the way, happened to fall on my wife's birthday. So I was spending the day with her. We had a great time. She had some friends that people came in from all over. So we had a friend come in from Kansas, a friend, her dad came in from Colorado. She had a friend come in from Maui. And then she had a bunch of friends here. We went out and had a great dinner and went down to a dance club at the Park MGM Casino called On the Record. And so that was a lot of fun. And then Sunday we hung out by the pool and had people as well. It was a good time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And of course we had our launch last weekend for Agency Traffic Magic. So thanks to everybody out there who supported that. What have you had going on, Chris? You were telling me before the show you've had a busy week.
It's insane. The last 10 days have been the busiest revenue business development wise since I started with RM a year and a half ago. And so it was just crazy. You know, I was doing, I was breaking my 1 hour a day rule, but I was like,
that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does. You know, and just kind of figuring out, okay, I need to seriously start thinking about a part-time project manager in my agency. So it's a good place to be. Just lots of activity going on with multiple prospecting methods. I know you talked a lot about that in the last couple of weeks here, and so that's been my life. And then just starting to scale, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. Yeah, you know. That kind of point you're at where you're like, oh, I need to get some help and all that. It can be pretty stressful. But you're right. It is a good situation to be in, right? Yeah. I sometimes have to remind myself of that at certain points in business when I'm like, you know, running around like my hair's on fire. Like I have to stop and take a breath and be like, hey, remember, you wanted this. like not only did you want this, but you have actively been trying to make this happen. So like,
yeah, you know, I've got a rule every time I get a decent client, a recurring decent client, I take my wife out for dinner and just and whatever. And so it was a couple times this week, and she's like, "What's going on?" You know.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, you know, the business is growing." So
yeah, you're like, "Hey, everything." Well, what a great way to tie in a reward for her. like, hey, when we close a new client, we go out and have a dinner and celebrate. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
Oh my gosh. 18 years.
So me too. So what was so funny about my wife's 40th birthday is I actually celebrated her 21st birthday with her.
Wow.
We were just dating, and and like, so it's a pretty funny story. It got a little crazy, you know, and
21st birthdays always do.
I just remember like later that night, she was like, "You're never going to call me again." And I said, and look, here we are on your 40th celebrating again.
Yeah.
So, pretty funny. Let's see. What's a couple of other things that are going on this week? So, Richie reached out to me today and pointed out to me that tomorrow, this is not business related, but tomorrow night we are going to be shark against shark because Richie's Tennessee Vols take on my Oklahoma Sooners in Norman at 7:30. Everybody says the Vols are going to win. It's going to be tight. I'm hoping we can hang with them. They've looked like a death machine to opposing teams. Like they've just destroyed everyone they've played. And we've looked a little shaky. Looked a little shaky. So we'll see. Oh, Dorn says Vols win by 10. Dorn, you're out. All right, Dorn, that's it. Just kidding. Anyway, so we have a great show coming up. Kristen says today is her 26th anniversary. Oh, Kristen.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Kristen has been a member of our community for a long time. Happy anniversary, Kristen. That's great. Yes, that's awesome. Let's see. Kristen said, I used to think a lot of people in digital marketing had that same living room. That's great. Great. Let's see who else is in here. What's up, Patty? John Hardiman, Lynette, welcome. Jacqueline, Dan Lesser, what's up, Dan? It's so funny. Dan made I responded to a comment Dan made in the 100K club group because he was like, I've been going through the remote prospecting course, you know, which is basically like it's so funny. You know, when we did the challenge thing a few weeks ago, I told people like, well, we've been using this method for a long time. And way back, this was pre-COVID, we actually put out a course called the remote prospecting that was about that method. And so Dan has been going through that course and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't gone through this course. He's like, I've been getting so much out of it. And I was like, yep, that one was ahead of its time. Like when COVID hit, I was like, man, this is the time to release that. Not back then. So here at Sharks HQ, we're always ahead of the curve, just so you guys know. Dorn, good to see you. Enrique, yeah, look at that. There's Richie. What's up, Richie? Richie said, sounds like we might need a little side bet action. So I told him, I said, look, Tennessee's favored by 6.5. I'll take OU at those odds, but I don't know. He hasn't responded yet. Usually Vols by 10. Richie says 20 says the Vols win by 20 points. Oh man. Gotta come on my live show and talk smack, Richie. Please, no respect, Chris. No respect. Okay, hey, look, we always like to start our live shows off by celebrating the wins in our community. So I want to do that as well this week. So let's start off with some shark shout outs. And I'm going to share my screen. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the training we did on Wednesday on passive prospecting. How many people here were on that training? If you weren't, you should watch it. There's some good stuff on there. We're going to talk a little about that. Dive a little deeper into one thing from that training that I didn't get to spend a lot of time on Wednesday. And yeah, so it'll be a good time. So here, let me share my screen. Let's start with some shark shout outs. So here we go. First up, that face looks familiar. Mr. Chris Byrne picked up a new SEO client, $14.97 a month. Another SaaS client closed, $5.97 a month. This one was referred by one of your existing clients. So, Chris, I'm interested. What is the SaaS that you're doing there?
Go high level.
right?
So, and that is, running the reputation. I've got my VA doing some consistency posting for social. It's really
Yep.
inexpensive. Definitely the lead collection. So we've got the web chat. We've got the missed call text back, and then we'll do some light Google profile work every month for them. And it's turned out to be a nice little package. It's something that Richie and I have kind of kicked back and forth and developed over some time and stuff like that. And it just shows a ton of value month over month.
Nice. And the SEO client too, because we just did Agency Traffic Magic. Do you mind sharing what niche the SEO client's in?
Yeah. So it's an osteopath that is looking to.
Okay, so the medical niche.
Yeah, definitely looking to up their aesthetics side of their business, and that came from another a referral. So I had 2 referrals, right? And came
great.
in this week. They were both referrals out of clients that came through Reach. So I mean, it's just this kind of like synergy that started to happen with Reach again, and that existing client that referred this one, I brought in at a really low fee, and I was almost kind of questioning myself, should I do it? She's just a great person I wanted to work with, and I was like, you know what, just on principle. She just referred. Before we jumped on, I've got another shop, tattoo place that she recommended. So the osteopath, the tattoo shop, she wants me to build a website. So it's just the referrals have been just coming in this week. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you're starting to get to that tipping point, right? See, here's the thing that it's like, when you're, it takes a lot of effort to get something moving, right? Like I always think about a train. It takes a lot of force to get that train going. Now, once it's going, it can like pick up speed on its own, and like there's a lot of things going, but you're gonna have to exert a lot of energy to get the thing going. And so, when you look at a lot of the stuff that we train and teach on here at Offline Sharks, it's really about that part. Like, how can we do that part in the beginning to get it all going? Because if we can keep that energy up and keep like kicking the sand up at the bottom of the ocean, and eventually that activity swirling around us, we're going to be able to pick off a few clients here and there. But as we keep that up, and this is why we always talk about consistent prospecting, if we keep that up, eventually it gets momentum on its own, and we don't have to do as much kicking up of the sand and as much activity as we're going. And that's one of the reasons that we use multiple prospecting methods in our agency. We've and we're going to talk about, we have both. We have what we call active prospecting methods, which are things like the Reach cold email system, the directory sites, the CCSU mailer card, the already done method, the pre-built websites, any of that stuff. Any of those courses that we have, a lot of those are what we call active, meaning that we bring the energy and the movement to that, but we use some strategies and tactics to make it easier and less stressful. It's not like we just have to go out and cold call and all that stuff. Then we have passive prospecting methods, which are things like Agency Traffic Magic, where we SEO our agency site so that inbound leads start coming in, and we can turn those into clients. And we don't the only active thing we really had to do was to SEO the site in the first place, right? Now, most active or most passive prospecting methods take a lot of time, because that's usually the trade-off you make for it being passive, is that you have to invest a lot of time to get to that turning point. Like when you SEO a site, it's not going to start ranking in an hour, 2 hours, the next day. Like it's going to take time for that to happen. When you think about, other passive prospecting methods, like, building an audience or having a podcast, like those things, all of those things take time. Like we have to, again, exert a lot of effort, but eventually they start attracting things. And so on Wednesday, we did a training on our other passive prospecting method, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a minute, but it is instant. Like it just starts working right away. And you need both of those, right? You need the short term and the long term. But we'll get into more detail about that. Hey, Amy wanted to know, or Melanie wanted to know, so what are the things in the package? So Melanie, the price that Chris sold us for is $597 a month. So $597 a month is the price. But what are the things that were in the package? You said it was social media posting?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have my VA go in and she'll create, there's a couple things. Like Go High Level will allow you to take the positive, 5-star reviews and syndicate them right to social. So,
right.
If they have a steady stream of new reviews coming in, 5-star reviews, those will get posted to social. And then depending on the niche, I'll have her go in and create a post every week for 4 weeks. It takes her, an hour to do, but it's,
right.
She loves the extra work. It's there. And I have her do those for those clients. So that social is taken care of. Then on the rep side, we have review requests. So that system takes care of that. We also send out some NFC cards for if they have a point of sale. We're responding to them in real time with Go High Level, right? And I already mentioned the syndication there. So we've got the reputation side of things, and then the lead collection, right? So that they've got the missed call text back, and that plays into that script you were talking about with Frank Kern. But making sure that we're collecting. We're not just bringing in this flood of traffic from good SEO or ads or something like that, but we're actually, and Jason Moran was the one that really kind of got me on fire for this concept about a year ago. He's like, hey, it's not just about bringing more traffic in. What are you catching? Are you letting your leads fall through the cracks? So I think this package is really good for folks to make sure that they're texting back a missed call automatically, and boom, that puts it right to their phone. And the web chat does the same thing. So they're picking up all their leads. Those are the core components of that package. Now I've thrown on, and I'm playing with kind of the price point right now, some light Google business maintenance. I found a really good vendor on Legit that does a great job. He's got a low price point for somebody that doesn't need a lot of work done to their GBP on a monthly basis. So that's included too.
That's great. And it's because what Chris is talking about. So, and I didn't see anybody put in the chat. Who here was on the training on Wednesday? Our Unlock the Secrets of Passive Prospecting. Who was on that training?
I know I was.
Yeah.
That was a good training.
So one of the things, I did the training. We brought out our Clockwork Clients, which is a passive prospecting system that brings in inbound leads. But one of the things in that package, as a bonus, there's a sales script that you use. And there's two things about what Chris is talking about here that tie into this. So number one is, I mentioned on that training, like our hook when we're going to attract prospects is always about leads, like how to get more leads. Here's how to get more leads, like for an HVAC company is what we talked about in Wednesday's training. But what we offer to help them with on the back end is not always about getting leads. So you can, and I'm going to go through the script with you guys here in a minute. But if you use a script, you can get a prospect in that says, hey, I need more leads. And then by following this script, they will see that they don't really need more leads. What they really need is the ability to make sure none of the leads they're already getting fall through the cracks. And you can really easily show the value of how you can do that. And this is a really easy win for you as the marketing agency, because it is much harder and much more expensive to go get a new lead than it is to just help them convert more on the leads they're already getting. Like if you can look like a rock star and a super marketer just by doing that, because it instantly impacts their bottom line, right? And it's not as hard to do as going and getting the leads, and then you can add that on. So what Chris is doing with that $597 a month package is exactly that. So, and I know Chris uses the Clockwork client system I shared on the webinar, the results you had where you got a $599 a month deal or $499 a month deal, like within 12 days from like setup to finish.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I was talking to Chris before. I was like, so like, how's it going with the ads? And he's like, well, I had to turn it off because I just have too many clients. Like, what a great problem to have, right? And I mentioned that on the webinar. I kind of said, and I don't know if a lot of you picked up on it, that at our agency, we don't run that thing 24/7 all the time because you can't handle that much work. Like we turn it on and turn it off and then turn it on and turn like, and so Chris and I were kind of chuckling about that because I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like you get some clients and you're like, whoa.
It's the truth, you know, and you don't want to just keep collecting, you know, all these folks that you're not going to, these warm leads that you're not going to follow up with because you don't have time, you know? So I literally had to shut, okay, we're going to shut it down and I'm going to do some quality work and follow up. And so they're in the nurture series and all that kind of stuff. But right off the bat, you know, a couple discovery calls, you know, the sale, it was just great. It was like, okay, well, this is nice to know I can flip this switch whenever I need it.
Yeah. And, you know, and so Kristen, so two things about this. So Kristen asked, do you need the 297 Go High Level to manage all that for this client? Are they a sub account? So Kristen, so it depends on what kind of access you want the client to have. So if you want the client to be able to log into their own unique dashboard and high level account and all that, then you have to have that functionality. You have to be able to create sub accounts and individual logins. If the client doesn't need to log into any of that, then you can just do it in a regular account, right? So that's kind of one of the differences. So like for instance, we give out Go High Level sub accounts to anyone who purchases Clockwork clients, right? So you get a Go High Level sub account, but that sub account, you can't create your own sub accounts in there. Like you can manage multiple clients from that sub account, but the clients won't have their own individual login. So you can still do the things Chris is talking about, but it's just not in the one place, right? So hopefully that answers that. Okay, let's go through a couple of these, and then we'll get back to that script, and we'll talk about that a little more. So that was a good one. Okay, so Tony Edward, who I saw in the chat, was saying go Poke. Yeah, Tony, I hope you guys beat Utah. I like the Pokes. The Pokes are the OSU, Oklahoma State University, the rival of my Sooners. So Tony got a $1,700 a month attorney client for video and Google Business Profile Marketing. He ran a DBR, a database. So he ran a database reactivation for them back in August to get them more reviews from past clients. This is exactly what we were talking about a second ago. Database reactivation is another version of, hey, you've got a list of people at your business that have done business with you at some point that probably haven't done business with you in a while. Why don't you give me that list of people and let me do my marketing magic and see if we can get some business out of it? Again, those are really quick wins for you, the marketing agency owner, because like they're not doing anything with it. So even if they just get one client out of the deal, they're like, holy crap, that's like free money to them. So good work on that, Tony.
Great job, Tony.
Storm and Norman sold a $28,000 website for a medical tool improvement that is used for pets by veterinarians. It x-rays cancer diagnostic and removal. He's built a website already for these people for $70K, and this is for the pet version. Woo! Oh man,
great job.
Like, hold on, that deserves this.
Nice.
Oh, we gotta get loud. Yeah, Norm, that's awesome. Great job. Next up, Amy Jones fired. Oh, I saw this. I was so excited to see this. Amy Jones fired up her reach machine yesterday for the first time. So this is actually yesterday. So she fired her reach machine yesterday for the first time. And 1 hour after the first batch of 10, she sent out one batch of 10 emails, she got her first response back for a free listing. That's how it all starts, Amy. One little win at a time. One little win at a time. So great work, Amy. Great work. Mr. Richie Cronin, one-off Google Business Profile optimization and cleanup of other profiles for a multinational medical software company with over 400,000 users in the USA alone, $1,697. He did a $15,000 website plus $350 a month SaaS for an Australian environmental process company. He met with the head of the New Zealand company on his flight back to the USA and made the connection. Look at that. On a flight, talking to the guy next to him, makes a connection, closes a deal.
That is cool.
I love it. I love it. That brings our grand total for the week of September 14th through the 20th to $35,091. That's amazing. Since the start of 2024, you, the people in our community, have closed $848,312 in business. That is a huge win. Congratulations, everybody. Give yourselves a big pat. And if you're not sharing your wins in the Facebook, shame on you. Share your wins, even the recurring ones, every time. Every time you send an invoice and it gets paid, post it in the Facebook. Hey, I sent an invoice and it got paid. We want to share those wins, track them, all that stuff. So awesome things. And of course, we had quite a few wins at the agency as well, but we don't always put those in. So good work, everybody. Good work. All right. Let me, here, I want to take a look at something just to see. Maybe we'll do it. No. Okay. All right. So here's what I want to talk about next. So I mentioned that on the training Wednesday, we talked about passive prospecting, why we use two different types of passive prospecting. One for the long term, which is the agency traffic magic method of SEOing our agency site, getting it to rank, inbound leads coming in. But then we have this other passive prospecting method for the short term. We call it clockwork clients. And it's really, it's about targeting specific business types. And then we use a funnel to kind of do all the heavy lifting. And Chris was actually one of the first people to join Clockwork Clients. And maybe you can kind of, I know I sort of mentioned it earlier, but maybe in your own words, you can kind of tell people like what that experience was when you first got it and getting that first win and all that stuff. And then we'll talk about the script.
Yeah, definitely. So right off the bat, I was, and I explained this for anybody that's in RM. I just kind of mentioned that, with the new Google kind of policies around email deliverability, there were some optimizations that I needed to make to my reach system. So I was getting better deliverability, and, it was great. Richie and Dorn and Jason helped me through that. That was awesome. But in the meantime, I was starting to notice kind of a downturn in my semi-passive prospecting. And look, everybody knows me, knows I work full time and stuff. So it was going to be hard for me to kind of hit the continual discovery calls that I was normally used to. And so Clockwork Clients popped up at the right time, that launch. And so I got in right away because I knew this is exactly what I need. I can dump some of my profit back into some really common sense, low budget ads, as you call them, Tom.
Yep.
But, it was so easy. I jumped in. I said it in RM for everybody, but I jumped on a Friday night, grabbed myself an adult beverage, sat down, binged the course, went back, went through it again. And I had my ads up and running, my low budget ads up and running Monday morning. And I had leads already trickling in and I think I sent you a message. I had my first discovery call booked within 5 days. And I had that one. He still may buy. He's on the fence. And then, within 12 days, I had signed my other business and stuff like that. So it was, and I was just spending time following up at that point. Discovery calls. What was kind of cool about that was making sure that I had a good system in place with Clockwork clients, that people were actually showing up to the discovery calls. So that was cool too.
Well, yeah. I mean, then that's a super critical piece. Like, there are a couple things about what you said there. One was like, so I know a lot. So I know that you were getting leads for under $7, right? Like, a lot of people worry about like, is this going to be like, am I going to have to spend a bunch of money? Or like, I mean, we tried to, on our end, you know, there are other ways to drive people to the Clockwork client funnels, which really the funnels. So we have 6 niches that we target with this method. And we've got HVAC, electrician, plumber, roofer. There's, I think, a lawn care, and there's one other, car detailing. And so we built out for our own prospecting complete funnels for each of those niches. And it would take you hours, days, months to do all that yourself. Not to mention, we built them out. We build them in high level, which you would have to buy high level and get that. And so, you know, on our side, like, we know, like, just having those assets is a huge advantage, like, of the time it saves you, whether you decide to use paid traffic, or we have like free ways you can drive people to those funnels as well. So taking that workload out, like, look, we don't have to create these things. They're already done for you with all the email follow-up sequences and all that stuff. That's kind of like step one. When it comes to running the ads though, like, had you ever run Facebook ads before?
Yes. I hate it though. I absolutely, it was just like, and maybe it's because some of the stuff I was doing before, it was just, Facebook didn't like it as much, doing some affiliate ads and stuff like that.
And it's complicated, right? Like when you do it the old, like the way we're doing it in Clockwork Clients is super easy.
Well, and that's why you stole my thunder there, Tom. I mean, like, that's why I was like, when I got into this, I was like, I've just got to get it done because I need this. I really do. My business needs this. Go put in the work, get it done. And then I was like, I got done, and it was like the end of Saturday night, and I was like, okay, well, my ads are all scheduled and everything's done, and well, Sunday's free. Yeah. So, you know, and it was painless. And I loved it.
Do you know how much you spent on ads before you got the first client?
$100 maybe.
$100. And the first client was $4.99 a month, by the way, just so you guys know, because I saw somebody was asking that, like, how much did you spend on ads? So Amy, Chris spent, and this has been our experience with this method and why we taught it. So Rick, Clockwork Clients is a passive prospecting system. We did a training on it this past Wednesday. The training itself is packed with a ton of great information that you can apply to other prospecting methods you're doing, whether you jump into Clockwork Clients or not. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let the, let me find this here. I'm going to let a link go below here. I think this is it. Let me just make sure. And then we're going to, okay. So if you go to offlinesharks.com, fast cash flow, don't watch this now, because we've got about 20 more minutes here on the live show. And I got some great things to go in a little more depth that will complement what you learned in the training or what you watched in the training. But you can watch the replay there at offlinesharks.com/fast cash flow. So just like open that up in another browser, but don't start watching it yet. And then I'll talk about some other things. And then when we're done over the weekend, go take that. This is only going to be open for a few more days. So, you know, make sure if you haven't seen it, you go there and check out what we're doing. You're going to want to understand this process, because, like, and I say this in the training at the beginning, like, I know when you mention funnels to marketers, everybody like nods like, oh yeah, we all understand that. Like, we've just like, everybody just, yeah, funnels, they're easy, right? They've heard of, it's easy to build a funnel. Funnels are the thing to go, right? Yeah. Somebody even says you're just one funnel away. So everybody just like kind of nods, like it's just a given that everybody has one that's doing well. But it's very few and far between that you find anybody that has one that's doing well. Nick and I have had several that have done really well. There's some of the awards for a few of them on the back wall, but also we have a lot of other funnels that we've had not that much success with, but really great success with running in the agency. So, this training is something that we don't really talk about a lot of this stuff a lot, but like there's a ton of knowledge and experience in what we're sharing there from what we know actually works, right? So, and a lot of people make out the ads to be this scary thing, but the way we do it in Clockwork Clients, that's so easy. And again, you don't even have to start with the ads if you don't want to. You can just start with some of the free ways to drive traffic and do that. And then when you get a little bit of traction, go there. So, but what I wanted to talk about before we run out of time, I got to get to this, is this. Oh, well, first, let me just give you guys a quick tease of something, and then we're gonna talk about this. So I know I get a little. Here we go. All right. Here we go. So we're gonna talk about but for those that know, if you know, you know what's coming. So this is what we're gonna talk about. This is one of the bonuses that comes in with Clockwork Clients. And I don't really spend a lot of time talking about this. Hold on, let me see. There we go. Okay. I don't really spend a lot of time talking about this on oh, shoot. Hold on. I meant to be over here. I'm going to make this, I'm going to make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. Okay. But this is one of the bonuses you get. And this script actually came. So I got invited to Dallas for the Go High Level Advanced SaaSpreneur Mastermind. This was back in July. And so I flew to Dallas. I spent a couple days. There was only, it was a pretty small group because you had to be doing big numbers with Go High Level. And so there was maybe about 100 of us there. Frank Kern was one of the speakers at that event. And so Frank shared this script that he was using to close people on I think he was charging $5.99 a month. But basically what we were talking about earlier, where all you're doing is helping them follow up with the leads they're already getting. And so he said at that training, he's like, listen, you guys can have the script. You can do whatever you want with it. But when he went through this script, I was like, holy cow, this is brilliant. And it's funny. What did you tell me before the live about this script, Chris?
Oh yeah. It was just, I think one of the coolest things is I had not even picked this script up. I got my first discovery call and I was like, oh, I wanted to try that new script. And I really didn't have enough time to kind of like rehearse. And I just kind of read through it and stuff. And I was like, I can do this. And it was kind of clunky, and because of me, not because of the script. And it just worked. It was like, oh my gosh. It was so easy. And now I use it I will not use that in some capacity.
And you told me before the show, you were like, I would have paid what I paid for Clockwork Clients just for this script.
No, it's the truth, because I now, I was looking for a good way to kind of like connect. I have a really good Excel sheet. So where I can plug in, okay, this is where they're at. This is how many leads and booked appointments they want to have. And this script plays right into just plugging in something on the screen share where I can show them, this is how much revenue you're actually missing out every single month. And this is what we can do and still get your, this is the revenue you can realize and get your marketing services paid for 100% at the same time. And it's like, it clicks.
I mean, this is really a killer bonus. And when Frank shared this, like I was already working on, because again, like everything that we bring out, we have been doing the Clockwork Client strategy for a long time. And I was telling, we've been doing this for years. This isn't something that we just put together so that we would have something to sell after the launch. Like this is a strategy that we've been doing for a long time. We've taught it to some of our higher level, our higher up coaching program students over the years. But I haven't ever really, shared it in mass. And so Clockwork Clients is now that. There's training. We've got all the videos of how to do this. Super easy. I can show you that in a minute. But when I saw this script, I was like, this goes so well with Clockwork Clients. Like, we're going to start doing this as well. So I want to go through this script and kind of talk about some of the advantages of it. If you're more than welcome to screenshot whatever you see or take notes or whatever that stuff. But I just think this script is so great. And it really can be modified to sell anything, that really just about anything. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Real quick before I dive into this, Chris, I saw John Hardiman wanted to know, did you do any tweaking to our ad images or copy, or did you just run everything as is from Clockwork Clients?
I just ran as is. I said, you know what? Later on down the road, if I want to play with that, I will. But I need to get up to speed now. And, having worked with you guys for a long time, I knew it would be good, and it was. so that's your answer.
You just warmed my heart with that last part you said there. And I don't know if all of you, I mean, maybe like I look out for this stuff just because I know what happens with so many people when they, like we put out a training course that we've done it. We show them like, look, we've done it. Here's what we've done. Here's how we did it. And they get the course. And the first thing they do is like, well, I think this should be different. And I'll probably change this part. And then like now they're like, they never get off the ground, or they run it and it doesn't work. And they're like, oh, that's crappy. I want to pay attention to what Chris said there. He said, I took it as is and I ran it because it was more important to start taking the action than to tweak that crap, right? Like you can always do that. Like you can do that down the road. You don't need to be doing that right out of the gate. We've already done that anyway. All the stuff you get, we have tested. We know it works. We do it. So like, stop doing that stuff. Just take what we give you, run it, look at your results, and then go from there. So, all right. Sermon over. I will not preach again. Maybe not. Okay. So let's talk about this. Hey, just Samson from Maui. Welcome. Okay. So let's talk about this script. So there are a couple of things. So here's some context. The leads that we speak to and the leads that Frank spoke to with this are cold. So 100% of them come from Facebook ads where they book an appointment, which is exactly what we show you how to do in Clockwork Clients. So you're going to have people that have never heard of you before. You're completely cold to them. Your business is completely cold to them. You're going to get them to book a call. They're on your calendar. And if you just follow this script, Frank was closing up to 75%. And you saw Chris almost close the first one, may still, but got one eventually pretty quickly. So this thing just works. Again, no need to go trying to change this around. Just like really read it and try to understand what is actually happening here. So here are the stages to this conversation. Okay. And this is important. I know a lot of people get really nervous when you're going to talk to someone because you're like, oh my God, I've got to actually talk to somebody. Like, what do I say? And what if they say this? And what if they say that? And what if they ask me this? And what if they ask me that? And what if I say this? And that, like, there's just all this and I do this. This is how I know. Like, I've had the worst sales conversation in the world, and I've never even had one, right? Like, but I just know it's nothing's going to be good. And so I start trying to improve things based on this made up conversation in my head, instead of just having a conversation, following a framework, and then seeing what happens, right? So that's what we're going to do here. So the framework of this call is we are not really trying to sell them anything. We are just going to ask them questions. Okay. We're just going to ask them questions. That's it. We're not trying to sell them. We're just going to ask them some questions. We're going to listen to their answers. And then we're going to make some comments about the answers they gave us. And in that process, they, not us, they are going to sell themselves on what we're offering. This is important. This script is not you talking at them and trying to sell them. This script is you asking them questions, and through those questions, them coming to their own realization that they need what you're offering. Is everybody clear on that? Like, that is a huge perspective shift, and that should be a real like aha moment if you haven't thought of these calls in that way. Okay? Because that's what we're doing. We don't have to be afraid of trying to sell them because we're not trying to sell them. We're going to get on a call. We're going to ask them some questions. Everybody with me, right? Clear? Okay. Yes. You spend more time listening. So here's what we're going to do. There's 6 parts to this conversation. 1, we're going to get them to tell us what they think their big problem is. And I'll go into a little more detail about what they think their big problem is and what it actually is in the training. If you go to the link on your screen and watch it, I'm not going to go all into that here, but I didn't dive into this script at all on that training. So that's why I want to do this here. We're going to get their sales process, every single step, and we're going to get them to tell us their customer value. We're going to get them to tell us about every single leak in their sales process. Everyone, let me repeat this. Everyone has leaks in their sales process. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on that call with you. Okay? Get them to tell you how bad it sucks to have these leaks. We're going to get them to tell us how bad it is that they have these problems. And then we're going to get them to tell us how much these leaks are costing them by confirming our diagnosis. And then we're just going to ask them if they want to fix it. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Okay? All right. So here we go. And by the way, one of the sometimes when you're going through this script, at some point, the person you'll talk to you will try to lie to you. I'm going to tell you that when they do, it's okay. You don't have to worry about it because they're going to say they need more leads. But like one of the things that we ask them in the booking page is how many leads are you currently getting? So we know they're already getting leads. Like we know they're already getting whatever that number is, X number of leads a month. So if they try to tell us that they're not getting leads or anything like that during this conversation, we can just say, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me look back at information. And we actually do this in the beginning. We say, well, I'm looking at your info here and I see you're getting about 10 leads a month, 20 leads a month. Like whatever they put into the form is what we tell them back. Really hard for them to disagree with that, right? Now, if for some reason they say, no, that's not right, we don't have to panic. All we do is say, okay, well, what's the right number? And just wait for them to say. And there's a couple of other spots in here where it's the same thing. Like, and we'll get to that. All right, so a couple things with the script. Be very prepared, okay? Before you get a successful strategy call is all about preparation. So before the appointment, you should go to the prospect's contact record or wherever you keep info on them. We use high level. Okay. So you can, if you're using high level, you'll find it. We talk about this here. We look at their contact. What did they put in the form? We pull up their website so we can have it open if we need it. We also Google their business name and city. We have that open in a separate tab. So what are we looking for? We're looking to see if they're on Yelp. Do they have a Google business profile? Like, are they showing up on the first page? Like, we're just looking for just general things. And I'd also do the search on your phone and screenshot the results so you can show them that on the Zoom call. So like, just show them what's coming up on your phone. On your phone, you can show them how people can message their business through the Google business pages. That doesn't show up on desktop, by the way. So if you can screenshot that, then you can show them like, hey, people can message you when they're on their phone, they can message you directly from here. If you're not keeping track of this, there's a problem, but it doesn't show up on desktop, right? Okay, so step number 1, find the one problem they want to solve. We are not selling features. We're selling a solution to a problem. So we know from Clockwork clients that we run ads to people that are looking for more leads, okay? So even though we can look at the answers they submit before the call and we know what they're looking for, we always ask them what the big problem is anyway. So we'll start the call with something like, so what made you reach out to us today? What are you trying to fix? By the way, if they say their big problem is they need more leads, you can share your screen with them and show them where you can see that they said they are getting leads every month. What we want to ultimately do is show that we can turn their existing leads into appointments really fast. But we have to follow this exact process, and you have to ask these questions in a specific order and way, okay? So you might do it like this. You say, they answer. You say, what brings you here today? They say, I want to get more leads. You say, okay, sounds pretty familiar. We hear that a lot. Hang on while I pull up your info here. Okay, I got it. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. Okay, do you see this here on the left? Looks like you said you're getting at least some leads. You're getting about whatever that number is, right? So that's good. But will you tell me about them? What's going on with these leads? So here's what we want to find out. We want to find out how much a customer is worth, all the steps in their sales process, all the leaks they have, how much those leaks are costing them, and how much it sucks to deal with those leaks. So remember, you can only do this by asking questions. They have to tell us how much they need this, right? So it goes like this. Okay, sounds pretty familiar. See this on the list. So that's good. You're getting some leaks where you tell them about them, what's going on. So let's say they say, well, I need more leads. Business is slow. Basically, they say anything other than I'm getting a ton of leads, but they're not buying, right? So they just say, I need more leads. Business is slow. I want more business. So you say, okay, what do you charge anyway? So they say, about $300 or whatever it is. So you say, okay, got it. Now you make a note of that on your little pad of paper you have, and you say, okay, got it. And do they keep buying more stuff or anything? Like, how much does somebody usually spend with you over the course of 90 days or so? And they tell you, make a little note of that, right? So let's say they say about $900. Okay, got it. So a customer is worth about $900 to you in the first 90 days or so. That's what we say back to them, the number they told us. Now, if the person says, no, like, that's not right, then you say, okay, I'm sorry. Well, what is the number? How much are they worth to you in the first 90 days? And then you just write that number down. Doesn't matter what they say. Okay. $100, $200, whatever. So then in the next part, we find out. So now we know how much a customer is worth, right? Now we're going to find out their sales process. So we ask them things like, so how does your sales process work? Like when you get a new lead, what usually happens in terms of turning them into a customer? So they'll say whatever they say. Make sure you understand it. Get every detail of how they actually make a sale. You want to know every little step because they'll have leaks, like who follows up with them, who does all that stuff, right? So really listen, take notes, and ask questions, right? So in this next part, you can find out where the leaks are, right? So they get a lead from wherever, they call the lead and set an appointment. So what happens when a lead comes in? Well, it goes to my voicemail. Well, who calls them back? You call them back, right? The lead shows up for the appointment. The lead buys or doesn't buy, right? So these are the things. So in this example, there are several possible leaks. The lead might not answer, right? The lead might not show up. The lead might not be qualified, and therefore they don't buy. So you want to get them to tell you how much it sucks for them when any of that stuff happens, okay? By the way, you do this by asking questions around each possible leak. Don't tell them they have leaks. Just ask them questions. Like, here's one. Like, how many times do you have to call them before they book an appointment? Notice we're already assuming it's more than once, right? How many times do you have to call them before they book an appointment? They say it varies. You say, well, what? Like 2 times, 3 times? They say 2 times, I guess. You say, well, how many of those never end up booking an appointment? They say, oh, about 25% or so. So you say, well, what happens to the ones that don't book appointments? They say nothing. And you say, and how many of people like flake out on you like this each month? Like how annoying? That's got to be super annoying. So they say like 5 or 6. Again, you say, man, that sucks. You know, we hear it all the time though. So you're not alone. By the way, how long does it take you to call them back and all that? I'm guessing it's a total hassle, right? Whatever they say. Got it. Okay. Right. And the script goes on like this. Right. And we just keep asking them questions and listening to their answers. So at the end of this chunk, we'll know how many missed appointments we can save, how much money it's costing them by letting those leads slip through the cracks, and then how much time and frustration it's causing them, and how many cold leads they have, and whether or not they have the database handy. So now we can move on to the second leak, which is the no-shows. There's a whole section in the script about that, right? Right? So we talk about that. We just go through each one like this, right? So we have all this information that we're taking notes on. How many sales are lost, all this stuff, right? And then once we go through this process, we can talk to them about the numbers, right? So, okay, looking at my notes, it looks like you've got 10 leads coming in every month that don't become appointments. You've got 5 appointments that don't show up. Is that right? And if they say no, don't worry. You just say, okay, well, what's the right number? And each customer is worth whatever they told you, $900, right? And if they say, nope, it's not, then just get whatever number. So you say, okay, if my math is right, 10 or 5 customers that 10, let's say 10 that we're losing, 5 that never show up, that's 15 leads at $900. That's a pretty good chunk of change, right? What is that? What is that? 4,500. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? I went to public schools, guys, so can't do that. So you just tell them that. So like, let's just say it was 10 for easy math. So you would just say, so it looks like you're losing about $9,000 each month just off the current leads you're getting in. So you just say, okay, so if my math's right, this problem was costing you about $9,000 a month. Not to mention, it sounds like a pain in the butt to deal with. I know we can fix this easy if you'll let us. What do you want to do? That's it. That's your hard sales close. Like, think about that. This is costing you X amount of dollars a month. I know we can fix it. What do you want to do? And then you just shut up. You let them answer. They'll probably have questions. Don't get technical. Just answer their questions. And then you can always go back and send it. And then here's some common stuff that comes up, how we handle those objections. But that is the length of our hard sales close. It's not a hard sales close at all. It's really just pointing out to them, getting them to realize the problem they have, the money they're losing, and then just offering to fix it. Does everybody see how much that works, right? So this is a bonus that you get with Clockwork clients. That's just one of the bonuses among others. So that thing, as Chris said when we were talking before the live show, and I tend to agree, that little script and process is worth a lot of money. And you just get it included with all the other stuff, the niches and all those things. So if you haven't already, go to offlinesharks.com/fast cash flow, open up a browser tab, watch that training, and we'll go there. Oops, I'm on the wrong thing here. Okay. Chris, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it, but it was a game changer for me. And I feel like I really got to level up there. So I'm just super excited to keep working it and try to wear that script out.
Yeah, and a great thing you can do, a couple tips for all of you that I know a lot of people jumped into Clockwork clients on Wednesday. By the way, we only had 50 spots available. I think we're down to less than half that we still have open. Like, we're gonna sell out. So if you haven't checked out the training, if you haven't grabbed a spot, you should do that. Again, that script is just one of the bonuses. But there's something I was just gonna say there. How did I just lose my line of thought? What was I just saying? Anyway, okay. Well, the script's included. Oh, so go watch the training, check it out. God, I just totally went blank, Chris. Totally went blank.
It's Friday. It's expected.
I know. I just totally went blank. What the heck? Okay. Well, look, we have something else we do on Fridays every week. We like to give away some Cash App money. That is our hashtag for today. So if you type in hashtag inbound, then here in a minute, I'm going to play the money song and we're going to give some Cash App away. That's going to drive me crazy now, Chris. There's something I know there's something important I wanted to say there.
you're going to remember it when you get off the call. You're going to have to send us a note in the Facebook.
I will. What was I talking about? Clockwork clients, only 50 spots. That sales script is one of the bonuses. We have another bonus in there that is our process. So like, let's say that I mentioned that you don't have to sell them. You don't have to sell them getting leads, but let's say that you want to help them get leads. One of the other bonuses is actually how to provide that service without doing it yourself or spending any of your own money. So that's another great bonus that's in there. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I knew it'd come to me if I just stalled long enough. The script. So one of the things I would recommend for all of you that have jumped into Clockwork Clients already, and you're looking at that script, I would recommend that you do two things. Actors have a technique that they use called running lines. And they use this when they're trying to memorize a script or a scene. And basically what they do is when they go to memorize, number one, they memorize from the end to the beginning. So instead of trying to memorize the script from the beginning to end, start at the end and memorize backwards. So why is that easier? Well, because the thing at the end is always what comes next. So it's like, as you're memorizing backwards, you always know what comes next. And so the new thing you're memorizing triggers the next thing you say and the next thing and the next thing. So memorize your scripts backwards. Start at the end and work your way backwards. Okay. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, when you're just sitting around, now you can do this in your office when you're alone, or you can do this. I often do this in the car. I look like a crazy person, but that's okay. I don't mind. When I'm driving, I start saying the script from beginning to end as fast as I can. Like, I'm not trying to do it like I'm having a conversation. I'm just doing it. I'm just reading it with no emotion and nothing from beginning to end. Blah, 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 just over and over. What I'm doing there is trying to just burn the sequence and the words and the script into my mind so that I don't have to think about what I'm trying to say when I'm in the heat of the moment. Because when you're in the heat of the moment, and I learned all this stuff from doing magic shows, because when you're doing a live performance, the audience is there. There's you can't be thinking about, oh, what am I supposed to say next? Oh, you need to know it. So, but when you know it, you can then take your time and be in the moment and add the emotion. So for instance, in that script, because I know the line so well, when I'm actually having the conversation, I can just say something like, man, so 8 people just no show on you? Man, that sounds like a real pain in the butt, right? Like, I can put the emotion to the words and it sounds like it's happening in the moment. Like, it's not something I memorized, right? So memorize end to beginning, run your lines so you know it cold. And then what I'd recommend you do is you record yourself. If you're going to do these calls on Zoom, open up a Zoom and record yourself just practicing doing the script on Zoom so you get comfortable saying it while you're having to work the Zoom controls and all that. Even role play it with your wife or your partner or anyone else. Like, print out a script for them and you say, okay, I'm going to play me, you play them. And then you say your part and let them read their part and then you respond, right? All of that kind of preparation will help you just feel really comfortable when you're on these calls and delivering that script, and you don't have to stress about it, right? Again, the power in this type of approach is that we're not trying to sell them anything. We're just asking them questions and we're going to let them come to their own realization that they need it. Oops. You know what? It looks like I have the wrong link from the show notes. Cameron, can you give me the right link for... hold on one second. Shoot. I'm sorry, guys. Let me turn this off and find the right link. Shushan, can someone give me the correct link to get to the Clockworks replay page? The one in the show notes apparently is going to Agency Traffic Magic. Anyone? Anyone there? Anyone there? That's my fault. I should have checked that. Yep. Okay. Everybody's typing in hashtag inbound. Okay. Look, while they're figuring that out, while I'm trying to get the right link, I know you can go here. Here, I'm just going to put this one in, and we're just going to do this. So no one's answering me. They must already be off for Friday, Chris. What the heck? They're like, he's winding down the show. We're all good. Go to offlinesharks.com/clockwork. So do you guys see the banner here?
Yep.
offlinesharks.com/clockwork. That should take you to the page. Oh, that is the right one. Hold on. So I'm wrong. What the heck? I'll eventually figure this out, guys. I mean, look. Oh, yeah. Duh. Who put that comment in there? Threw me off my game. Sorry, team. You guys were right. So, guys, look. When you go to when you go to the link I shared, the cash flow, when you go to this link, this is the replay right here. This is not the Agency Traffic Magic page. That's just the branding because that's the launch we did. This is the video. This is the webinar right here. You just click play. There we go. Eventually, Chris, we figure it out.
Truth will out.
Yeah.
Agency Traffic Magic was awesome as well. I went through that training. And
yeah, well, you should be doing, you mentioned this, doing multiple things, but you should be doing that. So my apologies, team. I thought the team had the wrong link. They did not. That is the right link, offlinesharks.com/fast cash flow. All right. Yes, by the way, you can only enter hashtag inbound one time. If you do it more than once, you don't get more entries. I see some people out there trying to sway the system in their favor. All right, look, before we do this drawing, we got to end the Friday with this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
All right. The money song. We love it. Barbara says busted. Yeah. We can see him. Okay, we're going to give away $25 in Cash App money. I know we're going a little over here, so I'm going to do this first one real quick. The first winner, $25 in Cash App money, is Sandy Alexander. Congratulations, Sandy.
Yeah.
$25 in Cash App money coming your way. Again, sorry for the confusion. offlinesharks.com/fast cash flow. That's where you can see the replay. It says Agency Traffic Magic at the top, but that's the replay for the webinar. So make sure you go check that out. Drawing number 2 for $25 in Cash App money goes to Josh Voles. Oh, was that rigged? Because, Tennessee is called the Vols. Like, I feel like this was rigged. Did you do that, Richie, just to mess with? Anyway, Josh Voles wins. Man, I hope that's not a bad sign for me, Chris. I hope that's not a bad sign. Anyway, congratulations, Josh. Congratulations. Richie, we can talk smack through text while the game's going on tomorrow, so that'll be good. Hey, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us here. Again, if you haven't checked out Wednesday's training, go to offlinesharks.com/fast cash flow. Check it out. That script we went over today is one of the bonuses that you get for free. There's a couple of other bonuses as well. Check out the offer. whether you jump in or you don't jump in, there's also something you get for free on there that will help you turn more of your strategy sessions calls into closed clients. So make sure, just go watch it for that. You get that free regardless. We wanted to make sure whoever watched the training didn't go away empty-handed. I can't think of anything else. Let's have a good weekend, everybody. Let's stay safe. Let's practice aloha. I'll see you guys here next Friday. Same shark time, same shark channel. Chris, thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. See you later, everybody.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.